to edit files. So now let's continue with the piping and filter. So in this section, I will speak about redirection and the pipes also for combining multiple commands, filtering the output, and variables and environment variables. So one of you may ask, how do I redirect the output, or how do I pass the output from one command to another command? How do I combine multiple commands? Or how do I sort and filter the output? Also, what are the environments? So before we start with the pipelines and filters, maybe I can shortly introduce this command, echo. Actually, this is a Linux built-in command that allowed user to display lines of text or strings that passed as argument. So it's quite similar to the print command in Python. So you can just show a message for specific operation that you are doing. And it's commonly used in shell script and patch file to output the status text to the screen or the file. So you can just show the status of your program or so. Here is the syntax of using the echo. So let's say if I keep using thin link here, by printing echo, and then you can put the message that you want to print in double quotation. Okay. Sorry. The mouse not. So here is the status, let's say like that. Okay, so it will just show us the message that you want to show. And here you have an example how to use it. And if you print any text, you can show it after echo. And now if we want to redirect the input output, actually the standard input comes from the keyboard, of course, everyone knows this, and the output goes to the screen. So there is also standard error, and all of these can be redirected with Linux commands. And the Linux commands listed here, like if you use this simple large done, this will actually redirect the output to some commands or files. It's as you prefer, like you want to show the output where. So let's say you want to redirect the ls output to any text file. Okay, so let's say here I am in. If I click ls, what I have here, I can maybe go inside intro Linux, this folder that has our exercises, and then ls or cd, I can enter to the exercises. And if I go to the folder patterns, which has multiple files that we can use them as examples here, we can just say cd pattern and ls. So you can see here the list of the files. So if I want to use the output of the ls and save this output in any file, I can do it like ls and then direct the output to any file that you create. Let's say it's ls status, for example, text. and I click enter. I say ls to show if I have this text file that I just created, and you can see it's here. If we open that file, if you remember with cat command, we can say ls status. You will see that we have the files that we listed. It's saved inside the file. So this is kind of, directing the output of any command to anywhere or in any file like you choose. But if you use double large of, this means that you are concatenating or appending the content or the output to the same file or the place that you want to redirect for. Let's say instead of saying one large than, I do 2 times large than. Okay, so I click that, and if I open this file at ls, you will see it will concatenate 2 times the ls. Okay. And also, if you use less than, not large than, this actually will change the standard input. And if you say too large than, that will redirect the standard errors. And this actually used sometimes for saving the errors to your error logs. So for example, here, if you have a my program, which is a executable program, let's say, and it's located in the current directory. If you want to direct the errors from that program, you can just say too large and save it in your error logs. And of course, you can use both, redirect the standard output and the errors. The output with and one, and the errors too large than. And you can see also the example here. Here there is more examples about how to redirect the content of the files. So for example, you want to take the first example show, if you want to take the output of one of the files and then concatenate it in another file. So let's just do ls again to see the files that we have. So for example, let's select one of the files, maybe file 3. Okay. I will just show what is inside cat my file 3. Let's take 3 and see what is inside this file. So you see, this is the content of my file 3. If we want to take this content and concatenate it in another file, and this other file either you created now or it's already existing. So let's say I want to take this content. Okay, sorry, my file. Three, and then I want to concatenate that to, let's say, new file or my file 0. Okay, so if we go to this file that we took the content of file 3, we will find it's concatenated there. Let's just see what is the content of this file by using either cat or nano if you want to see everything there. 0 and So you see now file 0, it was empty actually, and now it has the content from the file 3 after we concatenate with the double large than. Now if we go out by Control plus X to log out the nano, you also can, of course, redirect or concatenate the output from any other command. And in this example, you can use echo message and also direct it to the same file. And this is, as I mentioned in the beginning, that it's similar to printf in Python or print. Yeah, but if we implement this simple example of taking the output of echo here and say whatever message we want, this is a new line to test the output of echo command, and then we direct that to, let's say, the same file, my file 0. Okay, and then we do the same, like nano. Okay, nano, my file 0. We're supposed to have this line added at the end, and you can see here the output of echo. It's in the end of the file, so we append this line there. Okay, so this is just example how we take the output from a command or from a file and save it in another file by using large than. Yeah, so it's again, there is another examples if you want to open the files and keep it in a writing mode. And yeah, this you can do it with cat. And if you say cat and large than, and then you open any file, let's take the same file that we were editing, my file 0. Okay, so if you click that, actually it's expecting input, but because we did not give the input, it will just open the file in a writing mode. So now you can write anything to add to this file. So let's say this is again testing, adding a text in writing mode. Let's, yeah, maybe we can just, here you can also, this is another line for test. So if we add all this content, but if we want to save this content to the file, now we have to click Control D. Like, as you can see here, with Control D, you can save the content that you added during the writing mode. So now if I want to check the file again, I will just type cat, my file, 0, tab, and then you will find the new content. It's appended in the end of the file. Yeah, so now we have also another commands, the head and tail. And the head, it will show us like part of the output if we have a long output. So instead of going through all, if you want to see part of the output, you can just use head command. And if you want to see part of the output from the end, you can use tail. So if you see here our output of the file, my file 0, it has, let's just cut that, and I say my file 0. Okay, so this is the output from my file 0. Sorry, my file 0. And okay, so there is some, it doesn't show all the content. Maybe I missed something. But let's just open another file, maybe with a lot of content. ls. Here, let's say cat. And let's have we have another file, my file 3. Okay. Or we can just say new file. Okay. So I think this is the file with a lot of content. It's not here. Maybe it's in my, yeah, here. It's in my local cluster. So maybe we can just check here, ls. And I can just say cat. And here the file. Okay, test. It's called test. I just wanted to find the file with a lot of content to show the reason why we are using head and tail. So if you see here, we have a lot of content. If I say I want just the first 3 lines from the head of the output of this file, so we can just add head. For example, I want the first 3 lines of the head of this file. We click here, it will show me. Okay. So -3, it should show only 3 lines. Yeah, as we can see. And if I want to show the tail, I can just write tail. And maybe the last 2 lines, I can say with the test file, it should show the end. Oh, this is weird. Copy, and let me just open that and see what is inside. Maybe by mistake we deleted the content. So it's here. We can see the content. Control X. Okay. We can say head. Let's say the first 10 lines. Yeah, so this is actually it's showing the first 10 lines from the file because we have some explanation in the beginning of using cat and less and more. Yeah, so this is the purpose of using head and tail. You can see part of the output of the file. Now, if we come to the word count and sort commands, so this word count command, it's counting the number of the lines, the words, and the characters inside the file. And you can see also some options that you can add with it. If you want to count only the number of the lines, you can use -L. If you want to use to count only the number of the characters, you can use -M. And if you want to count only the words, you can use -W. Yes, and here again in exercise patterns folder, you can find many files that you can use them to test this command. Yeah, so let's say we have ls. If I open the file, my file, or yeah, my file 3 tab. So if you see, this is the content of the file, my file number 3. If we want to count all these words and lines, and we can just add the beside the word count -L or -M or -W. So let's say I want to do WC, word count, for everything inside this file. I can just say my file 3. Okay, so it will give me the number of the lines and the characters and the words, or sorry, the opposite. Yeah, and here we have some examples to implement that. And as I showed you here, how you can print out the count. Also, you can do actually to count the lines, characters, and the words inside all the text files that already in the directory that you are in. So if I say ls and I want to know the information from the WC for all these files here, you can simply print WC and to count the words for all the files. So all you can take star dot all the files that having text, and when you click enter, it will list for you all the text files that you have it in the directory, and it will give you the count of the lines, characters, and words for each single file inside this directory. Yes, and if you want just to show one of the information like line, you can just add the, for example, -L here. Okay, so you will see only the number of the lines for the file, or for all the files here in this case. Yeah. Now, if you want to, let's see here, maybe you can also try these examples at the same time and see how it works for you. And again, now, as I mentioned before, like the pipe or direct the output from any command can be saved in another file or in another command. So here again, to count the words for a text file, you can also direct the output and save it in another file, as you can see in this example. So let's say if I want to take the output from what I did last time, it's counting the lines for all the text files in this folder, but I want to save them or direct them in a new file. Okay, let's say I want to save it in new file name, file length, or whatever text. Okay, so if I want to see what is inside this new file length text, you can just say cat or nano, and yeah, So now we see we directed all the output from the last command inside this file. Now, if I want, of course, to show the content again using cat or nano, and as we mentioned, you can also use less or more. And we saw also the difference between less and more. With less, you can scroll the page up and down, and you use the search. Okay, so after counting the word, here we have sort command, and the sort command, it's used in Linux to print the output of a file in a given order. And also you can find a lot of options with it with using man sort. But the useful options here, it's -n. It's actually showing the sort to the numerical values. -f to ignore case, -b ignore leading blanks. Sorry. Here also we have some examples to sort the content of the file. If we try to see where is this file in our exercise folder, you see here we have the file called numbers. If we just say cat numbers, that will show a file that has some numbers. And actually, if you want to sort the content of that, simply you can use sort. And you can also select whatever you need from the useful option for you. For example, if you want to make it sorted, depend on the numerical values, so you can just add -n and then the file that you want to sort the content of it. And as you can see here, the output is sorted. Yeah, maybe you can try these commands with the different options. And as I mentioned, you can use also man sort to see more options. And of course, you can redirect the output of this command and put it in another file. So now with the pipes, it's also redirection, and it's used when you want to take the output of one command and use it as input for another command. This is often called to pass output to another command. So the pipes, we use it to pass the output to another command. In many cases, it is possible to do the same with the intermediate file or more, but it's often better to just combine the commands with one or more pipes. And yeah, we use this pipe now to combine the output from one command to another. And here is an example if you want to redirect or combine the output from this command, which is the count words, and yeah, take the output and then sort it with another command, like the other command is sorting. So if we now see the output from these two different commands, as I showed before, if we count the words using -l only for the lines, with everything inside this folder, we take this text. Okay. So this is the output for implementing the word count with the -l, only counting the lines. So if I want to take this output and then sort it, we can just use pipe here to implement two commands at the same time. Yeah, so let me just take it to implement it since I have to take care of that time. And yeah, if I click that, if you see now we are sorting the output that we get from the first command. Yeah, so this is the pipe. It's connecting two commands together. And here another example with using a tail. As I mentioned in the beginning, you can use tail and head to show part of the output from the end of the file or from the beginning of the file. And here we have another examples for that. So you can see counting the lines in all the text files and then take only the first three tails of it. So if we run that, you can see here. So we can just take the last three lines of the output from the first command. You can see it will show us the last three lines from the output of the first command. And the same if you want to run the head. Yeah, and as you can see here, we can run multiple commands actually. We take the output from the first part and then sort it and then display only the head of it. So we can just run this quickly. Yeah, then pipe, and then I say sort it and then show me only the head, like three lines from the head. Okay, so this will take the count of the lines and then sort them and then show only the first three lines of the output. Okay, so try to run these examples with different options. And now let's continue with the exporting variables. So the variables can be very useful, and it's the environment variables store data that is used by operating system and other programs. And already here we can see some examples. We can both the can be used in the scripts or in the command lines. And actually, you can use it with putting a special symbol in the front of the variable name and with the uppercase. And as you can see, it's already, we have some variables here. The dollar symbol, it will be before the name of the environment. We have already saved ones like home. This will show you the home directory, and also pwd, that will show you the current directory, and also ld, library path, a colon separated list of directories that the dynamic linker should search for shared object before searching in any other directories. Yeah, so this is used for compiling, and the other environment like dollar OMP num threads, this set for number of open MP threads, and the last one Python path, this used when if you want to set a Python library path there. And you can see here echo can be used to show the content of your environment. How you can see all the environments inside your system, you can just write env, and you can see all the environment that listed there. Yeah, so you can see here home, it is my environment that shows my home directory, pw, also the user, and how we can see the content of these environments by writing echo and then you can say, for example, home. So if I want to see what is inside my home environment, it will just show me my home directory. Also, if I want to check another environment, let's say echo dollar, and the other environment, let's say pwd. This shows my current directory here that I am in. For user, maybe we can also see my user environment. User. So you can see my user, it's Klim, it's me here in Alvis cluster. Yes, so these are the environment and how you see what is inside them. And of course, you can set input for these environments by using export. And you can see the example here. If you set for this environment like input by using export, then later when you try to echo that environment, you will see this content. And of course, you can set a path for your environment by using export. This is another example. And there is an important point here. We have to notice that the environment variable only retain the value you have set for the duration of the session. So when you open new terminal window or log in again, you need to set that environment again. But if you want to avoid that your environment will be deleted in the new session, you can just add it to your .bash rc file, and but only do so if it is should truly be persistent across many sessions, like adding a new directory to search to LD library path, for instance. Yeah, so just take care of this important note here. Yes, so here some examples showing how you can set input to your environment with using export, and at the same time concatenate these to your bash file, bash rc file, as we mentioned here. So we keep doing the same thing each time you log into your session. Yeah, and now we are coming to the last part. You can see here a summary of the key points that I tried to cover quickly through this session by using echo and redirect the output and count the words and sort commands, also piping and the environment variables. And yeah, you can see these key points here. Thank you, and I think now I have to continue with my colleague